All right, we are back once again. I hope that 2023 is moving on well. Welcome to Intouch, and of course, my guest today is Brona. Now, she's actually into baking, and of course, she does cakes and so on and so forth. Perhaps it's important that we get to learn more about her. Thank you so much for coming. Good to see you.
Thank you for
The
inviting
lady in
me.
pink. Is pink your
Yeah.
favorite color?
No. Apparently, I had this hue and I was looking for a color that would match. So
Okay.
finally, I found this dress.
Okay. Okay. In case you are not able to see the heel, it's green. So pink green. That's
Yeah.
exactly what she's talking about.
Mhm.
How are you?
I'm alright, thank you. How are
Great.
you?
How is 2023 moving?
A bit slow, January, but
Yeah,
yeah, we're hoping it can get busy as time
definitely.
goes by. Yeah.
Tell us a bit more about yourself. Who is Brona really?
Okay. Um, Brona is a nurse.
Serious?
Yeah.
Wow.
I have never practiced though.
Mm.
hmm So like after finishing school, I was like very excited about getting a job. Like I just wanted life to like go really fast.
Mhm.
But hey, that didn't happen.
Okay.
That's how I found myself in the baking industry. So yeah, I'm a passionate baker, a florist, an events planner, and decorator. I have so much going on.
Ah.
Yeah.
How long have you been practicing? Baking and floristry, if I might call it in that way.
Okay. So for baking, my brand will be turning 2 years
Okay.
next month.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then for the events business, it's not even a year old, something that is coming up. Yeah.
Okay. How did you get yourself, started with the baking business?
Okay, so after actually a good number of failed attempts to get a job, I thought, let me have something to do. So initially, I started with selling slippers. I would order them from Ayuba and Brothers when they have
Mm-hmm.
their Ramadan sale. They would
Okay.
like get really cheap.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd get a good number and then we sell thereafter. But then that required me to be going to town every now and then, the issue of deliveries now. Yeah, and it became hectic. So I thought, what can I do from the comfort of home? And then a few, I don't know if it's days or weeks, I saw an advert on Facebook by Cake Market.
Mm-hmm.
That was a baking training. So I'm like, oh, maybe let me give it a try. So that's how I actually had a 500 kwacha in my account that day. So I'd like save up from my monthly upkeep. And then the class was 1,750. So they said you need to like pay a 500 deposit to confirm your slot, and then the rest is paid on the day of reporting. So that was a Friday, and class was supposed to start on Monday. I deposited that 500. I didn't know where the rest was going to come from. That I was like very optimistic. And so I made a few phone calls to my relatives. I'm like, hey, I want to enroll for this, blah, blah, blah. And then, yeah, the monies came together. And I started my baking business. Yeah, I should go further.
Okay. So now, obviously, for many people who are into, baking business, for them, you'd find that it stems from an interest that they might have entertained maybe from their childhood and so on and so forth. For you, did you have a proud interest, or probably it's because of the hardships of society, lack of a job and stuff like that, that got you into, this kind of business?
It was about the hardships, of course, but I would do a bit of basic baking at home. I remember baking muffins and I would carry them to boarding school. My friends would like them. I would do the same in college. Yeah, but I think we ordered a cake once and the
Hmm.
cake like looked really beautiful, but the taste was not so pleasant. So I just wanted to like give it a try and just be able to make like amazing cakes for myself.
So you wanted to make your own cake because you didn't
Yeah.
like what you tasted.
Yes, it was nicely decorated, but the taste, whoa.
What went wrong with the test? What is it that you noticed that wasn't so good with the cake that you tested?
It was dense.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a chocolate cake and it was bitter. I'm sure you
Mm.
encountered
Chocolate
some
bitter.
some bitter chocolate cakes.
Ah,
Yeah.
wow.
So actually that's where the name of my brand came in. It's called B from Brona, and
Mhm.
then cake alchemy. Alchemy meaning chemistry or science.
Okay.
So I wanted to not just concentrate on the artistic side, but also the scientific part of baking, the why and how.
Okay.
Yeah.
You've tested a number of cakes on the market.
Yeah.
What makes a cake unique,
Makes
nice,
cake
such that
unique.
the client will come back and have more?
Okay, so for me, I believe so initially you dig in with your eyes before you can like go ahead with the fork.
Mhm.
So a cake should not be only pleasing to the eye, but also your taste buds. So there's a lot of science involved in baking. So it's about the right ingredients in the right quantities, making sure you use good brand, correct mixing, correct baking, and all that. Yeah. So it's a whole lot of science, and that's my main interest.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay. How was your first experience, when you were taught, okay, after the theory part of it, then
Yeah.
you got into, the practical aspect of it. How was the first product that you did?
It was like the whole thing was just like exciting. I remember like when I walked in, I took a picture and I captioned it your next big thing. So I
Mhm.
was like very excited the whole time. So because I used to do like some basic baking at home, when we were being taught, it was like, oh, okay, I see. Oh, this is why I got it from here. So it was like a whole lot of just like corrections and all that. Yeah. So it was a very beautiful cake. Unfortunately, I don't have a picture of it. I don't know how I lost it. But
Actually,
yeah.
my next question was, did you share it on social media just to get feedback from people?
Yes, I opened my page the very first day that I attended class.
Okay, great. So,
Yeah.
what kind of response did you receive after, you shared that with the people?
It was great. So my friends are like, wow, I'm blessed with a support base.
Okay.
My friends and my family, like from the very beginning, even when I was still like trying to perfect my skill, it was just like, whoa, the whole time they were impressed and like really happy for me. Yeah.
How did you receive that feedback? What impact did that feedback really have on you as a startup entrepreneur?
Okay, so what I would do, like when we bake the cakes at the training center, would share everything that we bake. So when I go back with the cake home, I would not only like confine it to our household.
Mhm.
I would cut into slices and give out to friends and our neighbors, and I would like get really good feedback from there. So like that kept me going. Yeah.
Okay, great. Your first client. How did you find your first client?
My first client. So there's a girl that I was with during the training. And then when she got her first order, she was like, "Oh, I don't think I'm able to like pull this up. I think you're the best person to do this." Because during our graduation, my cake was voted the best cake.
Okay.
Yeah, so she's like, "Oh, are you able to do this cake?" So she had already collected money, and it was a 380 kwacha, and that's how I made that cake. Ish, when I look back, I'm like, "What nonsense was this?" Yeah, so like it was a whole lot of improvising when it came to like the decorating part because I didn't have like the necessary tools that I needed.
Okay.
But I never compromised on the taste of the cake.
Mhm.
Yeah, so that's how she gave me that order. I made that cake.
How long was what was the grace period in terms
two
of when
weeks.
you were supposed to deliver and
She called me a day before, I think around 14 hours, and the cake was supposed to be ready the next day before 12.
wow.
Yeah.
How did you work around timing there?
So I had like a starter pack that I was given by Cake Market because
Mhm.
my cake was voted the best. So from the 380 kwacha, I went and bought a 2.5 kg of flour, like just like here and there. So I didn't have trouble baking the cake, but when it came to decorating, it's like, oh, I don't have a palette knife. Ish, I don't have this, but I just like tried to improvise. By then, I was like very happy with the outcome, though a bit worried that okay, maybe my client has been having like very nice cakes from experienced bakers, and now I have to give him this. But he was like very impressed, and
Okay.
he became a good client after that. I still have him today. Sometimes he pays me even for 4 cakes up front.
Serious?
And I just keep the dates. Yeah.
Wow. All right, so having a conversation with Brona, she's actually an entrepreneur who is into, cake baking, and of course, she's also, venturing into other businesses as well. Just sharing her story in terms of how she started up to where she is. So now, after you were done, baking your first cake, your first professional cake, with a client waiting there.
Yeah.
How were you feeling looking at the fact that you're looking at there are a lot of things going on, the decor, and the client obviously calling. Okay, how were you feeling? Did you think he was gonna like it?
I was worried about that part because of the way the decor was looking.
Mm-hmm.
But for the cake itself, I was very confident. So I was like, even if he goes like, no, but it's not the design I asked for. I knew if he eats, he's like, oh, but it's nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you were banking on the test.
Yeah, there I don't compromise.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So she doesn't compromise on tests.
Yes.
Okay, she doesn't compromise on tests. That's where her confidence is. Okay. So now, from there, how did the reaction of the client really build confidence in you going forward?
So he was like more impressed than I actually imagined. And so he even trusted me with like 4 cakes afterwards. So he paid in advance. By then my cakes were going for as low as 380 kwacha. Mm-hmm. So he paid for like 4 cakes in advance. And because that money came at once, I managed to like get a few other tools, basic tools that I needed for my baking. And so just having the right equipment just like boosts your confidence up, and you're able to pull up a few designs here and there because you have the right tools. So basically, that's how I started. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. What are some of the ingredients that one needs for a perfect cake, a good cake, really?
Okay, so fats. So you can use a margarine.
Mm-hmm.
So you need the more fat you have in a cake, the better the outcome.
Serious?
Yes.
Okay.
So you need to go for a good margarine, which has at least 70% fat content plus. Yeah. Sour does the magic,
Serious?
Yeah.
The same
Manici, yeah. It gives a better outcome as compared to milk.
You just don't know how happy Tongas are out there. I'm telling you.
I'm Tonga, by the way.
No wonder. No wonder instead of mentioning milk, you decide to go for Mavis.
No, it does the magic.
Okay.
So it gives you a more fluffy cake, and because it's already fermented, your cake lasts longer.
Okay.
Yes. So it's also just about using like the right brands. You need to know why you're using something and how you should use it. So it's the fats, the eggs, the right flour, because people just bake with anything. I mean, you're baking cakes, so it should be cake flour and not vitumbua,
Okay, so are you simply saying, the flour that you use for vitumbua, mabanzi, bread cake is different?
Yes.
What's the difference? Isn't it just flour?
No, cake flour is very light as compared to other types of flour. Mm-hmm. And so it gives you a more moist and light cake. So if you bake a cake with household flour and another with cake flour, the one with household flour is likely to be dense. I'm sure you've seen those heavy shimmer-ish cakes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the type of flour matters as well.
So some of the bad cakes that we have tested, especially for my wedding, are you simply saying, because mankala makeke and guava, you are not struggling to eat and swallow that big piece because it just flows, naturally.
Fluffy, we call it.
Exactly, mixing properly in the mouth. Yeah. But yenangwa, you have to literally, chew, kushet as if, So does that has to do with the kind of flour that they've used, or maybe to fat to chepamo? What is the magic there?
So it's not just about the flour. With baking, you need to use the right ingredients. Mm-hmm. So we find that people want to make big margins of profit from small investments.
Okay.
So because we have brands, we have margarines that sell for as low as 18 kwacha on the market, and you have another one selling for almost 60 kwacha. So somebody tries to compromise on that because they want to make a good margin of profit. So using the wrong brands wrong mixing. Sometimes people just put things. You need to be very rationalistic as a baker. You need to know the how and why of baking. Like, why are you using baking powder in this cake and not bicarbonate of soda? So why are you using sour and not milk? Why are you using this type of flour? So you need to know the use of each ingredient for you to like come up with a perfect cake. And I always preach, do not compromise on the quality of your cakes.
Have you ever had a situation where you did everything right, but a client was just not satisfied?
Yes.
What happened?
So it wasn't about the cake actually itself. It was about the decor. So usually when you're having a conversation, you would post a cake and you maybe sometimes say the price, but sometimes the expectations of our clients are like literally different.
Yeah.
So where somebody says just something simple because they want the price to be reduced. And so if you give them something that matches that price, it's like they were expecting this, and then you give them something that matches their price, and it becomes a problem.
So you usually struggle, to deal with anything simple is okay.
No, we want to give you value for your money. That's the thing. We should give you value for your money. So
when a client says anything simple, what really comes in your mind as a baker, as somebody who, because mostly what I've realized is most of the people who usually go with a statement is something simple. They leave it up to you to come up with what could actually, meet their taste buds and their visual, satisfaction. So how do you play around with that?
So usually it's not about them getting a simple cake. No, it's when they say simple, you reduce the price.
Ah, okay.
But in the actual sense, the expectation is that same thing. Yeah. So unfortunately, most people are not honest. They wouldn't say, okay, this is my budget. So sometimes I just like open it up and say, hey, what is your budget? So that I give them an option of what falls in their budget. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right, so Brona seems to understand her job very, very well. By the way, she's a nurse by profession. So, the way you're dressed, if it was in white, I wasn't going to struggle really to tell that you're a nurse.
I haven't tried my uniform on.
Serious. It seems like, the love is slowly dying, don't you think so?
Not really, but I'd still have to practice someday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So in an event that you are offered a job as a nurse, what happens to the company that you're building now?
It continues. Yeah. So so with baking, it's like in phases. You don't have to spend 5 hours straight. I know bakers that are working and they're still able to manage their brands. And with nursing, there's a lot of free time actually. Because you're working from 8 to 13. After that, you have the rest of the day to you. So you just plan in advance and make sure the cakes are ready the time that they're supposed to be ready.
How long do you take just to make one cake, decorate it, and finalize it?
Okay, so because it's in phases, the mixing takes me about 25-30 minutes. The baking is also 30 to 35 minutes. Then you need to wait for the cakes to cool completely. Then with decorating, usually between 15 and 30 minutes, I'm done. So basically 3-4 hours altogether. Yeah.
So far in the last 2 years that you've run this particular business, how's been your experience? How is the market really?
Great. So I'm actually grateful to Cake Market because they keep in touch with their students. And so they give you an easy path to penetrate the industry. They have quite a big following on social media. And so just a post. So even during the training, they'll take pictures of you and they post. So already people are noticing that, okay, there is this baker. So even after that, you can send your works to them and they advertise for you for free actually. So they've been marketing my brand since I started. So I didn't have much difficult to penetrate the baking industry. So like I said, also my friends and my family are my biggest support system. They share my work. Like each time I make a post, I have at least not less than 8 shares. So meaning I'm able to reach not less than 3,000 people each time I make a post. Yeah, so I'm also like very deliberate about my brand. It's just that today I came like this, but usually you'd see me in a t-shirt that is talking about baking. So I'm deliberate in the way I dress. I'm deliberate in the way I introduce myself. I don't just end at Brona. I always say everything else that I do because my next client might be seated next to me. So I introduce myself well. My family shares my work. I have Cake Market doing the marketing for me as well. So even at church, I carry slices and I'm selling them outside after service. Yeah.
Mm.
So it's been an amazing journey. I actually didn't see my brand growing this fast because I mean my brand has become a household name.
Mhm.
That one is not a lie. So within a space of 2 years, I've made my brand known.
One question that I think has been coming at my mind,
Yeah.
in my mind, and of course going back, I don't know how
Yeah.
I've been forgetting, is what kind of cakes do you deal in? Are you able to make a wedding cake?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So mostly I do fresh cakes
Mhm.
or modern cakes, you should call them. Yeah, but I'm also able to do wedding cakes. I'm able to do diabetic friendly cakes. So it's just bringing everybody on board. I mean, you can't deny people good things. So I make sure there's a cake for everybody. Yeah.
I like it. I like it. All right, so you can definitely. She's very active on social media. By the way, we met actually via social media as well. So she's very, very active on social media. So you can check some of the works that she's done aside from what you are able to see right now. But she does have other works that she's put up on her social media page. Maybe you can share your social media handler as well, so that maybe others can be able to check and see what you can do.
Yeah. So the page name is B Cake Alchemy.
BK Alchemy.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm like so obsessed with that alchemy name, such that my other businesses are affected because the name is just about cakes, you know. But
Ah.
yeah, I'm hoping someday I can wake up and and give the brand a name that incorporates everything else I do. Yeah, so I do cakes. I make very nice pastries, samosas, pies, pizza, donuts. I deal with smoked foods, so you can hire my smoker, or you can bring your smoked. You can bring your meats and have them smoked by me. I'm into events planning and deco. So we plan your wedding, we plan your engagement, whatever event, and we do the deco as well. On that one, my mom has bought into the dream, so I'm doing that with her. I've managed to convince her to come on
How did
board.
you manage to convince her?
So when I was starting, everybody was just looking at me like, "What is this girl doing?" But because I have proved myself, and it's become evident. Like what I'm doing is now evident. They're able to see what I have managed to achieve during this time. And so now I have people asking me, can we do a partnership? Can we do this and that? So my mom has bought into the dream. When I was doing the florist class, she actually came with me. So we do the weddings together now.
um, you were trained to be helping people in terms of taking care of the sick
Yeah.
and so on and so forth. Then along the way, you just decided to divert in your career, get into something different. Yeah, you're helping people by feeding them, by the way, which is a good
Yeah.
thing too. It's a good thing too,
Yeah.
really. Yeah. How did your family really respond to the idea of you now doing something totally different from what you're trained for?
Well, it
They
wasn't
wasted money.
completely no.
They really, really wasted money. Why didn't they just take you for a baking class instead of
No.
spending thousands training a nurse?
No, they didn't.
Uh-huh.
The baking thing was just a by the way thing, and I don't know. Somehow I feel it's a blessing and discuss because had I gotten a job earlier, I wouldn't have like explored this potential.
Okay.
So sometimes I think I actually don't want to practice. I like, hey, this girl is very comfortable with baking. Look at how much she makes, and so they actually think I don't want to practice. But hey, if there's an HR somewhere, Yeah, I still want to practice. Yeah, but I'm hoping someday, and I'm also hopeful that I could,
Okay.
yeah, do
Ah,
that as well.
interesting. 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 So,
Yeah,
so they accepted you getting into a different field.
yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Supported you.
They are very supportive. My mom buys cakes from me. I don't make free cakes now.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no free things, I guess. There's no free things, I guess.
Yeah.
All right. So with this passion that you have for the for food, let me
Yeah.
call it food now, because now you've just shared with us that you have other occupants that you do as well.
Yeah.
You bake cakes, you do pies,
Mhm.
all these, and now you're even offering big brand competition like Panarottis, Romans, and all that. You're offering them competition because you can do a pizza as well.
Yeah.
Ah, I would really love to see what you can do.
I'll bring some.
Yeah, yeah. Just business is about how you market yourself.
Yeah.
So I remember just last week I had people from one of these pie companies
Okay.
who were passing through companies,
Okay.
sharing their flies,
Mm-hmm.
their flyers. They were like, no, you can just call us, we can deliver to you even at home. So now if you want a pizza,
Yeah.
you just need to make a call, and they will
Yeah.
definitely deliver at home. It
Yeah.
seems like people like you are offering them very stiff competition.
Yeah.
If we have an individual like you making a pie to that a pizza to that standard,
Yeah.
why should I go and get these brands? Yeah, yeah. So I don't know how far your dream is, how far you'd want to go really in this particular business.
Okay. So right now my baking business is operating from my mother's home. Yeah. So my dream is a cake studio. So that cake studio, like people can walk in and order cakes from there. People can walk in and buy ingredients. People can walk in for lessons. So I just want like a one in all cake studio.
Mhm.
Yes. And just to make cakes at an industrial level. Because as at now, I'm only able to like take up to 6 orders per day.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm looking at getting a big oven that can accommodate even up to 10 cakes. So I know within 30 minutes, I have 10 cakes out where I can make even up to 20, 30 cakes per day. Yeah.
Interesting. I'll still pose a question.
Yeah.
In terms of when I asked what type of cakes you make,
Yeah.
I quickly posed a wedding cake.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, obviously you can do birthday cakes, what, you can
Yeah.
do that. But when it comes to decor,
Yeah.
how diverse are you when you're dealing with decor, putting decor on that cake?
Okay. So usually my clients would send me what they want
Mhm.
and I recreate. But I try to go as extra as I can.
Okay.
So character cakes. So we even make like personalized cake. You're a journalist. Do you want cameras all over your cake? Do you want a microphone? Yes, yes.
So
So we make sure a cake is always giving like a message. You look at a cake and you know, okay, this cake is for a fashion designer. This cake is for this and this. Yeah.
okay. I have a friend who does really cakes as well.
Okay.
One of the days he had called me for a cake one day, and he was working on something for a client. A client had sent something,
Yeah.
so he designed something, and the client came and no, have you ever have you ever encountered such kind of a scenario where a client sends you something, tells you, okay, you can make it similar to this one,
Yeah.
yeah. Then instead of you maybe in ways of improvising,
Yeah.
you try to change a bit of some color. Instead of yellow, maybe you improvise it with maybe orange, a bit of some orange, maybe a bit of some
Yeah.
blue and stuff like that. Then a client just comes and snaps.
Yeah, so we're warned of such situations
Mhm.
actually. So for me, I try to be as honest as possible. So if somebody sends me a design and I know deep down my heart that it won't like come out as it is, I always tell my clients, say, okay, I might not be able to pull this up like exactly the way it is, but I'll try as much as possible to give a similar look. So if I don't have the colors that the client is asking for, I'm also honest to say, okay, I don't have this. Can I give you this or this? And I make sure that my client accepts, and that's when I go forward. I don't So it's about the client. It's not about what you want to make. There are times when we want to go extra and whatnot, but you should always like stick to what the client wants. And if you're going to make any changes, be sure to inform the client. Yeah, but some people are just like difficult. I mean,
What plans do you have for the year 2023 going forward?
okay, 2023. So I'm looking at doing a lot of trainings. I've actually started training people from home. So you can come and train in cake making and pastries.
Okay.
Yeah. So I've just been doing it from home. So I thought I can even go to other towns. So I have a class coming up in Kawe. I'm going to be in Kawe from the 27th of February to 3rd March. I'll be conducting a training there. So I'm hoping I can conduct a lot of trainings. And yeah, my dream is getting a double deck oven. 27,000 kwacha.
So you're looking for 27,000?
Yes. Yeah. So that one is my main aim for 2023.
Amazing.
And get as many deals as possible.
All right, so interact with her on our social media handlers, and of course, I get to, just get to find out more. If you can as well get to test her cakes as well. So what you're able to see, those are some of the things that she's actually able to make. Well, Brona, thank you so much for coming through today, and wishing you well this year as well as you embark on your journey to find the 27,000 kwacha to get yourself a double what?
A double deck oven.
A double deck oven.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. I'm sure by December you should have a 27,000.
If you buy from me.
Yeah. You should have that 27,000. We'll divide it per month in Nishinzingat. We can do quick mathematics. So that you know exactly how much you'll be making per month just to get the 27,000. Yeah. So when you buy in an event that you buy that double deck oven, how many cakes would you be making per day?
10 plus.
10 plus.
Yeah.
Okay. Great. All right. So that is the dream that she has. So if you are also into, this kind of business, or you'd want to learn more, you can simply interact with her. She can definitely include you on one of her classes and just teach you how to do it. It's a thriving business. I mean, everybody loves cakes. People are getting married. People are having birthdays. People are having engagements. People are celebrating almost every day. So why not get to learn how to make a cake and start making cake as a way of, supplementing what you're doing. Whether you're working or not, you can still do it. Yeah. Brona, once again, thank you so much for coming through.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
Amazing. To everybody who's been tuned in, thank you so much for watching. To those who have been following us live on our Facebook page, thank you so much as well. Until next time, it's bye-bye for now, and God bless.